Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Tea Time with the Tea Girls. And today I have here my co-host, Kira Jade.
Hey guys.
You can go ahead and find her socials on the description box as well as mine as well. So let's get started with today's topic.
I'm kind of scared.
So we were talking about it, and I know we were like, well, before everybody starts questioning, like, why is my voice so weird? So that's for another episode. No.
Should we tell them the truth?
Okay, let's tell them.
Confess.
So I started taking testosterone. And I got sick, and I don't know if it's because I'm still not better, or is it because maybe the testosterone's starting to affect my voice? What do you think, girl?
I think it's the testes. They have dropped.
All right. Well, anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I stopped taking my testosterone because, I don't want to.
I approve.
I don't want to detransition. But today's topic's not about my voice, but it's actually talking about the first time we ever went out as full time. So, many girls today are still transitioning, and they're going out for the first time. They dress up, and maybe they had their moment of going from like gay boy to
Femboy.
Yeah, femboy to drag, right? We've all had that. I feel like I had my drag time. I feel like I did some drag before I fully transitioned. And, for a lot of people, going out for the first time, like fully as a woman.
It's a big thing.
It's a huge thing. And we all know that the first day of coming out, you do not go out looking like a woman.
Sad, but true. It's true.
Your first day out in the streets, you'll probably be something that looks in between, a pretty woman, I would say, like...
And a manly woman.
Exactly. So let's think back. It's been such a long time for me of when I transitioned, right? So it's been more than 13 years. So do you remember the first time you went out as full, woman?
As a man in a wig.
Is that what it was? Like, what was your first time going out full time for you? What was that like?
Are we talking about can we talk about the first time I just went out as a woman, or like full time completely?
Oh my God. Okay, I didn't think about that. I was thinking more like when you thought that you're like, okay, this is like my first day as being full time. Yeah. I'm not going back. I threw away all of my boy clothes.
Oh, and that's full time. Okay.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Because there's a time where you start dressing up, and we've kind of all had that in those moments. I want to focus more on like that, like the first time, like when you finally threw away your boy clothes, if you ever had any. Did you have any boy clothes?
Oh, I had a lot, but they were very like
Femi.
That femme queen, like crop top still, but they were
so like what you're wearing now.
Yeah, it was very that. I had to go back to my history and bring it back to you guys.
No, so that moment when you finally threw away your boy clothes and went out fully as, a woman. What was that like for you? Do you remember?
I just remember.
Or do you remember the first time?
The first time. Okay, so the first time I really remember was probably when I was it was junior or senior year in high school, where I was kind of like, you know what? I'm going to wear a skirt and just live the fantasy. At the time, I'm just like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But back then, when I was in school, it was very accepted in my high school, because there was a lot of ravers. During that time, that's when I started going to raves and stuff. Okay. And people at raves were very open-minded.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up here, kind of.
So
I went to high school here.
Okay, so it was here in Vegas that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was in Vegas, but because prior to this I was in Hawaii, but I moved here like around high school time, so
Gotcha.
freshman year. So junior, senior year, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. So I wore a skirt to school.
Wait, I gotta stop you here.
Yeah.
Did you were you living with your mom and dad at the time? Your mom?
I was living
right?
with my mom.
So, okay. Did your mom know that you were like trans, or like did she know that you were dressing up? What was the situation back at home? Because it sounds like you're living at home still and you're going to high school, but did she know that you were like gonna fully transition, or what was this like?
Well, when I would go to school, she wouldn't know. She was already at work. So she didn't know at the time. And this was the time where I was just like messaging other trans girls about like, hey, how can I get hormones? This was like the time it started. But I went to school in the skirt. I remember the first store I ever went to was Forever 21. Some really old man took me. At the time, you know, it was it was giving. We're talking about a lot here.
Hold on. There's so much to unravel here. Okay, hold on. Who is this old man?
Yeah. I met him on like a dating site. Yeah, and he was like really into like not really fully trans, but like he was into like girls that were in the beginning of their journey transitioning. Like he loved helping. He would take me to Forever 21 and pick out clothes for me. He was like a really good friend. We did nothing like sexual or anything like
really?
that. But he just really helped me. But maybe because he was really old and I was still like underage, you know. But I never sensed him trying to like be sexual with me. He just wanted to help me.
I mean, he could have had ulterior motives, and maybe because you were just so like not there in your head, like that it didn't happen. But oh my God, definitely don't do that, everyone. Do not talk to that old dirty man that wants to take you to Hot Topic.
Forever 21.
Oh, Forever 21.
Hot Topic.
We're so punkish today that I'm just giving like, you know. But okay, so now that we had that disclaimer out there, but so okay, this old man is taking you to Forever 21, taking you shopping, and he takes you, I guess, shopping for clothes and stuff, and now you go to high school wearing a skirt, so go ahead.
So I go to school, and I remember coming out at the time, I had a Civic, and it was red, loud. I'm like, okay, that's me anyways. People know.
You had a car, girl. I didn't have a car. I was homeless at that time.
So I just remember, like, the jocks, as soon as I went out, they were just, like, screaming, like, we know you're a boy, you know? So that was another, but I said, let me just hold my head up high and just go, whatever, you know?
How passable do you think you were at that time? You felt like 100, or?
No, definitely not even like 20%.
So
yeah.
So you knew that you didn't pass, but you still felt comfortable, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to do it. But at the time, I just knew that as soon as I got into like into the school, I would see my friends. So that's what I was relying on for them to like back me up, you know?
I love that support system. I feel like you definitely need that when you're first transitioning and you go out for the first time, and if you don't have anyone to support you, that definitely can be a very hard journey. I remember for me, like the first time I went out fully, so I knew that I was going to transition, and I had tried so hard to not transition because I didn't want to be trans. If anything, I wanted to be gay because gay was so accepted, and you know, and I was really cute, and I was like, this is such a waste, like to like transition. Like this guy is so cute, and he got a big old, and I was like I almost felt like I just wanted to leave the body that I was in, so I could donate it to someone else.
Oh, we love a donation.
I'm serious. Like I just felt like it was just like such a waste to transition this body that I was in, you know? But at the same time I had to live my life for me. So I was like, oh well, you know, rest in peace, the old me. And I started transitioning in the sense of I started getting laser hair removal before I transitioned, so that way I wouldn't have the stubble and all this stuff. Because I feel like that's one of the big tell signs of like a trans person, is like a beard. Like, do not be the bearded woman, people. Do not do that. At least if you want to pass and people not to call you he, him, and sir, and
they, them.
you know. So yeah, don't do that unless you want that attention. Then definitely go all the way and, you know, get laser hair removal like I did. And now I just like have a smooth face and I don't have to worry about that, you know, now in my transition. But I started doing that before I transitioned, and I started letting my hair grow out because, girl, my hair was like this long all the way around. I had no hair and I had a goatee. And so I know.
Oh my God. I'm Asian. So that's why I had no hair on my face.
Oh, lucky bitch. So I had my laser hair removal. Once my laser hair removal was to a point where it was patchy, I finally said like, and then my hair was probably like 1.5 inches. Like, no, maybe like 2 inches long. It was like spiky. I remember I used to wear it spiky all the way around. Oh my God. If anybody has pictures of me back in this era, please bring them out because I would die. But
Make a GIF.
for real. So then I would have this long spiky hair and I was like, okay, I'm ready to transition. And I remember that I lived in Sacramento at the time. I was in my 20s. I was 21 when I like went full time. So I was like older. It was not like it happened for me like, oh, since I was 16 I started transitioning or anything like this. Even though, yes, I transitioned back and forth, like dressing up in the sense, you know, in my younger years, it wasn't until 21 that I actually transitioned. So my hair was finally that long. And at the time, for all them girls out there with the extensions and all these different types of ways of inserting extensions into your head, it was not the thing at this time. At this time, it was go to Sally's and buy that black glue.
Ooh, Sally's. Sally's.
So
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So you got to tell me what you're thinking, but it was that black glue. And it was the tracks of hair from Sally's. And I would like, you know, bathe them in glue. And I like would stick them in my hair. And, you know, mind you, like my hair is like probably like this long, like super short. And I would stick the extensions, like I would glue them to my scalp. We're not even talking my hair here. We're talking about my scalp. And I would have them and it would be like so sleek like this. And then on my last little piece, I would put the hair that was like 1 inch or 2 long.
Right on top.
And I put it right on top and I put a little bit of glue at the bottom. And I would just be like this. My hair looked like this. Like it looked like this long. And then it was like slick Rick. So then I glued all these extensions in my head and I looked at myself and I was like, wow, okay, like I look good. I probably looked a mess.
Delulu.
Yeah, she was Delulu for sure. But I mean, what else did I have? At that time, I had been so tired of living my life as a boy that I was like, it's time to transition. So I had all these extensions in my hair and then I was going to go out and I went to the grocery store and I lived in downtown Sacramento where you could walk everywhere. So I'm walking around. Oh, I put makeup on and I dressed like a prostitute, pretty much. Streetwalker. Total streetwalker. Because I thought I was sexy. I thought if I was sexy and like I was trying to push my cleavage out, like mind you, I didn't have any operations.
Remember putting the tape right here and just like pushing it as far as you can?
Exactly. Yeah. So I did that and I had whatever kind of cleavage I thought I had and I put makeup on top of it. It was just a huge tamale Mexican mess walking through the streets of Sacramento and I thought I looked cute. So I remember walking into the grocery store. This is my trauma. I was getting stuff, and this little boy asked his mom, "Mom, why is he dressed like that?" Like kids can clog. Kids can clog.
They say the darnest things.
So I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And then my tuck was hurting and I couldn't breathe with all that tape.
Was it duct taped in back then? Right?
Oh yeah, duct tape. So it was just a huge mess, but I didn't know how to dress. My makeup looked awful. My, head was full of glue and these nasty extensions. But, that was a moment where it's so hilarious for me to now look back at it and be like, oh my God, I thought I looked good. And obviously this happened for a very long time. I was embarrassed many times out in public by people. I was outed. I mean, I couldn't pass. Do you know what I'm saying? And this happened over and over and over again. And I feel like that's something that somebody brand new transitioning, they should not worry that they're not passable enough. One day it'll come, right? Like, I mean, how long did it take for you to start looking passable? Because you started, you know, and you had that, like, high school. Do you have any other memories of going out and being like, oh my God, I thought I looked good, but now looking back at it, like...
I did go on a family trip with me full time. I remember going to Spain, and it was a family trip, and my mom was telling me, don't do it, and can you change it? But I said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do it. So I remember going to Frederick's. I had the old man get me like a water bra. Remember those water bras that like put like 4 cup sizes? And it was just...
I don't know. I've never seen. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Frederick's Hollywood, they would have a water bra, and it would feel... it was the best bra feeling. I feel like I had boobs, and I would always just wear... Yeah, I would wear a t-shirt, and that's it. And I went on a family trip, and they were like, oh my God. But my mom, I knew my mom told my family not to like really say anything, react like, oh, you look good. So that's another thing too. It really just depends your support system for your family, you know?
What was coming out to your mom like, you know, when, like, at what point did you have a conversation, or did you just start dressing up and you're like, this is what you get, this is how it is? Like,
first, I mean, obviously she was like, oh, he's gay. And then I said, then I started dressing up, and she kind of like, she was like, what are you doing? She didn't even know either. She didn't even know until I told her there's like such thing as trans people. So after a while, then I said, Mom, I need to see a doctor, you know, just to see what's going on. Because I asked her, can you get me hormones? She's like, no, I'm not getting you hormones. And that's when, you know how the girls look for a black market.
yeah.
But I mean, that's all how it started. But there's a lot of backstory to that.
So let's go back to Sally's, because you said, oh, Sally's. So what experience, what were you getting at Sally's, girl?
Oh, well, with Sally's, I remember using the bleach. I remember one time I was just like, okay, my hair's long enough, and I grew it.
How long? Like this long?
Yeah, it was pretty much this long. Maybe a little bit shorter, but it was long enough. And this was during like the emo days where even the girls had like, you know, the bangs across. I bleached it, and I fell asleep in my bathroom, and my hair just started coming off. I remember I'm like, I'm not a woman anymore, because I'm like, all that hard work that I did to grow it. So that was my trauma from Sally's.
I see. Wow. Oh my God. You know, I can totally feel your pain on that. Like, you know, you feel like you attribute. So that's, you know, the thing about when you first start dressing up as a woman, you know, you start going out as a woman. I feel like slowly, because like for me, I had like when I first transitioned, I was dressing like a total prostitute slut. Like it was just not sexy. Like I feel like what I'm wearing right now is sexy. I feel like it's a lot for some of y'all, but for me, I feel like it's sexy. It's womanly, you know, and but I dress like this for myself now, you know, and I don't feel like I do it so I can get like a statement, and I'm like, oh, am I gonna look feminine? Am I gonna look passable? Like now I don't even care, right? But when you first transition, you definitely pay more attention to everything that you're wearing, and I feel like you have that episode where you're overly showing everything.
Oh, you're pushing everything. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be more than a woman and be overly extra. The shortest micro skirt, use it as a belt. You know?
Exactly. So it's like now we're at this point where, I mean, look at you. Like I've seen you dress total like this, or even more relaxed, where you go out and you're like, oh, you know. How much do you think your fashion sense has changed from your first transition, right? Like your first day going out and dressing up. And then where do you get your clothes? Like when you first started dressing up, you had this old man.
Question, yeah.
We don't all have this old man. So, I mean, where were you getting your clothes from? Was it all coming from this source, or?
No. So in the beginning, when I started transitioning, the dressing part was like, I need to be like a woman. How do women dress? You know, I'm like, I need to prove to other people that I am a woman and I dress like a woman and I'm sexy and I'm all these things what I thought a woman is compared to how I am now, whereas I don't care. I know who I am. I could look like whatever. I could wear a brown paper bag and still feel
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm like, now I feel like my clothing is more of a something that makes me feel good versus something that I'm trying to project.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Like now I'm projecting who I want people to see me as. My clothing is me. I wear a bra because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Like now it's like I have like tons of bras back to when I was dancing, and I don't wear them.
Yeah,
I rarely wear bras.
Right. Free
So
them.
let them breathe. But you know, that's the thing. Like for me, like this topic, it was so important to talk about because I feel like for me, I started getting my clothes from the Goodwill, believe it or not. Yeah. I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have the money and I didn't have the old man.
Yeah.
And
I didn't have the money. I was too young.
yeah. So then it's just like slowly I started like collecting more and more stuff. And I remember that back in my drag days, I would wear the wig. I just didn't like it. Like back then, I feel like there wasn't wigs like today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Like
why.
nowadays, you don't even know who's wearing a wig. Like, am I
Yeah,
wearing a wig?
right.
Are you wearing a wig? Are you wearing a wig? But, you know, I feel like the young people that are watching us, and I want them to know that the moment, or even, you know, the older people that are transitioning, like, don't get so caught up in your transition and the clothing that you're wearing, the makeup, and feel that that's all that there is to be who you are. Because I feel like my transition has taken me from wanting to dress and look a certain part to just being who I am. For example, now I have all my operations and I wake up in the morning and I stopped chasing the transition.
Yeah.
Like now I'm just trying to look young.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, now I stopped chasing and people don't confuse me as a he, him. And people don't look at me weird when I use the women's restroom or when I go into women's locker rooms or when I go into Victoria's Secret to try on a bra. Like nobody ever confuses me for being a male. And was my goal. My goal was to become who I am today, who I feel that I am, you know? So for you, do you feel that you have reached that point in your transition?
Yeah. I felt that point after I got my bottom surgery, where after that, maybe it's because I don't produce testosterone, you know what I mean? So kind of like all those things that fazed me before, it just kind of dissipated. But maybe that's my head telling me that I felt like who I really am inside. You know, I felt complete. So I didn't have anything else to prove to anybody. And I proved it to myself that I could do it. And here I am.
Yay! Oh my God. Well, I'm so happy that, you know, we got to talk about this. Thank you guys so much. And let us know what you think. Like, what do you think about the whole transition thing on transgenders like us? And for all you girls transitioning, if you have any questions, just go ahead and reach out to us and put some comments down below and let us know what we missed in this going out for the first time as trans or full-time women.
All right. Bye, guys.